Hello everyone, my name is Nex, and today I'm going to show you how and why buttons are the best method of transport in the game. So you may look at a button. It's a very normal redstone component, everyone knows what it does, you press it and it gives a redstone signal, but those properties are not what makes it the best method of transport, and it's a glitch involving boats. So as you may know, having boats on ice makes for extremely fast transport, and I can just make myself a line of ice just like that, and as you can see, we travel forward at extremely high speed. Being on blue ice makes you travel at 72 blocks per second, which is just insanely fast. And yeah, this is a great method of transport. The only problem with it is that blue ice is ridiculously expensive. You need 9 normal ice to make 1 packed ice, and you need 9 packed ice to make 1 blue ice. So you effectively need 81 normal ice to make a single piece of blue ice. And that's if you're trying to farm it through an ice farm. Of course, you can also mine at icebergs, but there is a much better way to use the same speed as the blue ice. And that, like I said, is buttons. Now, we can just place a single piece of blue ice right here and have the rest be buttons. Now, normally what is supposed to happen is that you just move at a normal speed while on the blue ice, and after you're off of the blue ice, you just return to normal speed, which is really slow on normal blocks. However, because the buttons are there, they somehow make the boat think that it's never left the slippery surface of the ice. And as you can see, if we just enter this boat, we still are very fast and also very slippery. And of course, once we get off these actual buttons, it stops. Now, I did some tests and I effectively got the same speed as with blue ice, which is 72 blocks per second. And as you can see, if I just drive right here, I just fly past everything at extreme speeds. Look at my coordinates on the top left, it's crazy. But yeah, this is pretty much the best method of travel in my opinion. Because first of all, of course, this is very cheap. Buttons are insanely easy to get. You can either mine a lot with silk touch and you have tons of buttons, or you can have a tree farm, or just chop trees literally and you get buttons. It's just so easy, and you'd only need 1 piece of blue ice at every end. And what's even better is that even after leaving the boat, as you can see, it retains its slipperiness. It's not linked to the player sitting in the boat. So I can just drive back at insanely high speeds, and there's pretty much no downside. Now, of course, the downside about this is that this is, of course, a bug, or I don't know, I mean, it's probably a bug, but that means it could get patched sometime. I highly doubt they're going to patch it anytime soon, but it is, yeah, very useful and potentially going to be fixed. So I did some comparisons to other methods of travel, and first we have my translocation highway here. Now, this is the most basic form of translocation. It is by far not the fastest translocation highway you can build, and I will show you a faster one. But this one transports you 2 blocks every 2 game ticks or redstone tick. And yeah, that means it transports you at 20 blocks per second. And if we just press that, as you can see, it's decently fast, but it's still less than 3 times, well, it's more than 3 times slower than this method right here, which is literally just buttons. And for that you need iron, slime, glass, and repeaters, and redstone, and whatever. Then we also have elytras and rockets, and those max out around 35 blocks per second. It averaged around 33 for me, and as you can see, it's still pretty fast, but of course, as you may know, elytras are not exactly easy to get. You have to go to an end city and find these boats, you know, they're kind of not so common. And rockets, of course, you need tons of paper, which admittedly is easy to get with zero-tick sugarcane farms. I have some on my channel, wink wink nudge nudge. And gunpowder, which is even harder to get, but for that I also have a creeper farm on my channel, wink wink nudge nudge. But that's not the point here. Yeah, it's kind of not very, you know, easy to get, and it's definitely not as renewable as this method right here. Now, another method of travel that I have been suggested a lot and that I also have tested quite a bit is sand pushers. Now, these sand pushers right here are excellent at moving players because you can stack so many sand in there that it pushes you up to your render distance. No, it's not limited by simulation distance, it's limited by render distance. So I have about 512 sand stacked in here, which is 8 stacks, and that is what I have my render distance set to right now. I have it at 32 chunks. So if I just press that button, okay, let's press it again. There we go. I am at around minus 514, as you can see, and that pushed me all the way over here. Now, this is a very good form of transport if you just want to use it like one time and it's not supposed to be over a larger distance. Because chaining those modules, I tried a lot, trust me, and chaining them is pretty much, I wouldn't say impossible, but it heavily cripples, you know, the speed of this contraption. Because in order to make sure that it is two-way and flush, you have to make sure that it finishes doing what it's supposed to do properly, which means that it's supposed to bring this piston out of the ground, then push, then retract, and then pull back in. And in order to have that being done properly, you have to wait really long for that to complete, even with a pretty fast circuit. And then there also is the problem that components such as repeaters and comparators work outside of the simulation distance, so that means when it's unloaded, it's not actually fully unloaded. Basically what I'm saying is, once you started being inside of one of the sand pushers and you chain it to the next, you have to wait for the first to unload, but by the time the first is supposed to unload, you're already in the third, and that is very bad, and that's why it's not very practical, because it's only one way and it's not renewable at all. And another downside, of course, is that this contraption can crash other players. Now, I have no idea how the game determines between who is actively using the thing and who is not using the thing. I really don't know how exactly and why it determines that, but my point still stands, is that it can crash other players that are in proximity. And yeah, this is not due to lag, because this is not very laggy. I mean, of course it depends on your device, but it does not have any collision, and collision is the main source of lag in most forms of these types of things. And yeah, this can also be proven by the fact that you get teleported and you don't get launched. So technically, using this as a Elytra launcher is incorrect, because it doesn't launch you, it teleports you. But yeah, that is not really my point. My point being is that it can get laggy sometimes, depending on device. So again, very cool method of transport, but it's not really viable for survival, and you can use it once, and it can potentially crash your fellow players. Now, minecarts and rails. I'm honestly not even gonna discuss them, because they are so painfully slow, and they also depend on player latency with the server and stuff, and it's just horrible. And of course, horses also exist. I didn't exactly choose the fastest one, because I just spawned in one with a spawn egg. But yeah, even the fastest horse you can get is, I believe, still slower than these translocation highways. So horses alone are not really that useful for transport, but you can actually use them in combination with translocation highways, because they have a hitbox, and you can speed up translocation highways with entities that target bigger hitboxes, and I mean that have bigger hitboxes and thus can be targeted more. Now, I am on the TechRock creative server right now, and this is just a creative word for multiple people to test things. And right here I am in 77 Tigers' area, and he does a lot of stuff with translocation. Now, he does have a lot of methods that are way faster than just single player alone, and the 20 blocks per second one that I showed. I don't know if that works right here. I suppose that's the horse one, but they are all massively faster than that, and There are certainly some that can surpass 72 blocks per second, I believe, but I still think that they don't surpass the button method, because as you can see they are quite expensive, quite complicated, and redstone is laggy and stuff, and if you do use both, they are clean controlled, I mean, and yeah, that is much less laggy. And by the way, it does look all great. Tiger77 is a very smart guy, or 77 Tigers. His game attack is different. Oh, and just because I think it's pretty cool, despite the sand pushers being faster at launching you upwards, 90 blocks per second elevator. Also 77 Tigers, awesome. But yeah, there you have it. Buttons are pretty much the best method of transport in the game, in conjunction with boats and one piece of blue ice, of course. As you can see, I'm going really fast. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy this little showcase of a bug, and I just ran into a wall. Do keep in mind to subscribe, because I keep putting out interesting videos like this one pretty regularly, and I think you will find them very interesting. And with that being said, I hope you very much enjoyed this video and got a ton of use out of this glitch. My name is Nex, and bye bye.